I'm not familiar with the LIRR other than the cannonball out to Montauk and back. That's the fun part of it. This morning is not fun for you. What's your biggest headache this morning?
You know what, Tom, the service is actually, the system is working. Most people have taken the governor's suggestion to make it a telework day. 95% of Long Islanders telework during COVID, and they know how to do it. The turnout at our shuttle bus locations has been pretty light. So people who have to come into the city are getting there, and the subway service from the Queens subway stations where people are being dropped off has been fantastic. So far so good, but it's the first day, and we would like to resolve this issue and restore Long Island Railroad service, which carries like 300,000 people a day most days.
At this point, given what we know, Janno, how long would you expect this strike to last?
Listen, we made progress yesterday. The talks were productive. It went on until 1:30 in the morning. We're back at the table already this morning. We are hopeful that we can put this to bed, but the union's got to move a little bit further and make sure, and your listeners get it, we do not want to have the outcome of this deal, which is a request for better wages than the rest of the MTA workers receive, to result in additional fare hikes or additional taxes. That's why we're pushing back a little bit on the strikers.
Assuming a deal gets done, what's the ramp-up time to get this railroad back up and running to service its customers?
Generally speaking, it's whenever we get it done, we think we get service back the next day. And that's because you not only got to move people and equipment into position, we have to perform a lot of federally required inspections, especially of the trains. So there's some of the mechanics that have to be gone through before we can put those trains back on the rails and start to take passengers where they're going.
How unified is your system? I mean, you've got 300,000 plus on the LIRR. You got Metro North, 4 other things, Janno, I'm not familiar with. I'm your worst nightmare, Janno. I have no life. I go nowhere. But I look, Janno, at the system. How unified? Like, does a driver make the same amount on each system? Do the ticket people make the same amount? How unified is the system?
Oh, in the sense of you're right that there are different unions. We have, Tom, we have 80 separate bargaining units. We have 80 separate unions in effect to negotiate with. It is really a complicated labor environment. And there are differences among them, but generally speaking, we do what we call pattern bargaining. We make a deal with the biggest union, and then the others have to fit their deals within the economic box that creates. This group of unions wants to go outside the box to get us a special deal, and that is the source of the tension and the conflict so far. But as I said, we're trying to resolve it chop right now.
Janno, give us a state of the negotiations right now. Are talks ongoing? Are they scheduled? What's the story of the negotiations?
Yeah, they're going on right now. They resumed at 7:30 this morning. As I said, folks took a break at about 1:30 in the morning last night. I was here with them, and they're back at the table right now as we're speaking. So I don't have an update, but work is going on right now.
Aside from the Federal Mediation Board that's helping in the discussions, is anyone in Congress or in the executive branch helping the parties reach a deal?
Well, I mean, the governor has been, side by side with us throughout, and she has been monitoring the discussions very closely. I've been in touch with her team throughout the night, in fact, as well as the governor herself. So she's been the major player. Congress really doesn't have a role here because once these unions were released so they could go on strike by Trump's National Mediation Board, there's really no further role for the federal government.
Does the Long Island Railroad break even?
No way. In fact, the Long Island Railroad is the most highly subsidized of our MTA operations, the subways, the Metro North, and the Long Island Railroad. So you're right, Tom. Your question highlights the fact that we can't expect. regional taxpayers to keep pumping money for special deals into the Long Island Railroad.
Everybody up till 1:30. Our John Tucker wants to know, when will the talks restart? Do you start them this morning? Do you have a one-day cool-off? Which hotel should Alexis Christophorus go protest at?
No, they're going on right now at the MTA headquarters, a couple floors away from where I am speaking to you from.
Janno, can you just summarize kind of where we are right now in terms of what's the differential? Is there a bid-ask spread that is on wages? What is the real stumbling block right now?
I honestly, Paul, it's not. I don't know if it's productive for me to get into those details because we're trying to iron something out. But you know, we talked about it a little bit yesterday.
Right.
You know, it's wages and benefits and you know basic stuff like that.
You know, I look, Janno, as we're getting ready, and I know you've got to get back to your busy day, I'm using artificial intelligence in here, Google Gemini, Janno, on everything I'm dealing with. Here's my question to AI this morning. Was the $150 fare to the World Cup, was that Janno Lieber's fault? And here's the answer from AI. No, you can't pin this one on Janno Lieber. What a mess, Janno. Discuss just the PR madness of that fare.
Well, the PR is the PR, but I'll tell you this. I am sympathetic to the folks who run New Jersey Transit, which, you know, they operate a system where they're running on Amtrak railroads and Amtrak infrastructure that has not been maintained. They have a tough financial situation, and they're trying to make sure that they don't get killed because, you know, budgetarily, because there's a you know, they got to turn off their system to accommodate soccer fans who come from other countries and are paying $1,000 a ticket. So I have a little sympathy for the folks at New Jersey Transit. I think it's getting worked out over time.
Will the Cannonball run this weekend? Come on, Memorial Day weekend. Come on, Janno.
For you, we'll try to make sure the Cannonball runs, Tom.